Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Got a little bit of information I want to share with you. I don't know if it's going to do any favors for us, but it means something. You know, there's an old thing people used to say a long time ago in reference to the scriptures. They used to say that in the garden, Adam and Eve, when God had put them together and left instructions really upon their hearts about the way of life, and they were given an opportunity to make a choice between what they had been instructed as the way of life as opposed to what you call our way, their way, any other way, uh, other than the way the designer prepared. And so when the scripture says that God damn, oh shit, that's a mother there, boy. Did I break it? You know, ladies and gentlemen, I was getting into some good stuff because I've been using this here thing forever and forever. And at this moment, when I was getting ready to share with you some stuff maybe perhaps that I haven't shared before, this thing goes here and falls down. And it doesn't have my cover protection on it, so that it might just break the screen. You know how the screens cost. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You just have to deal with it. Anyway, let me try it again. Try it again. Don't fall. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we got a chance to share that little pain together. So we say that this means got to Eve, and Eve wanted to violate the rules and see what this other way, our way, their way would actually produce, and took it to Adam. Now, a man would have said, now let's assume that that's true, just for this discussion. A man would have told Eve to get the hell out of his face. And if she wanted to go and try it, try it. That's on her. But he would not have tried it. But we know that if Adam had said that to her, she'd have kicked him to the side in a heartbeat. And apparently he didn't want to lose her. I mean, in the situation that we're discussing right now, he didn't want to lose her, so he went her way. That made him a wimp. That's what happens when we're dealing with situations of life. Men are able to stand alone. Why? Because they believe in themselves. They believe in themselves. And you don't need anybody else to support you when you believe in yourself. It's good to have it, but you don't need it. You can stand alone. When you're a wimp, you need somebody to support. You convince yourself, one way or other, that you need that support to be one. A lot of times people get married for reasons like that on both sides, because they want to be whole by another. The problem with that is that they never are one, because usually each one of them got their own way, and each one of them got their own thing, just like in the garden. And they are not going to be willing. I better quit. I'm gonna hold you in my hand. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna try it again. So what we have is a situation where you don't have the unit, that unit, that come togetherness of we, you, me together. And so when you find out that that isn't there, both of you have recognized that you failed, then that love that you thought you had isn't there. Why? Because it was never there. This is the way of the world, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way of the world. This is why when you make AI, you got plans, it's structured all the way. You can break it down, you can tear it loose, you can always go back and do it. When you make a car, you can always break it down. You got all the information that you need. You can go back, put it back together, bolt by everything, and put it right back together. A system, when we're talking about human beings living in peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and stuff like that, that stuff is to be designed. It's designed by the power that put you together. It is designed, every boat, what it takes to bring peace. It's all put together. Peace, prosperity, it's all put together. It's already being designed. Freedom is all being designed. All being designed. All of the things that you might imagine that you might want and cause to materialize, it's all being designed there by the designer. Now you can hop out there on your tail with everything you want to do, talking about your reason and your motivation. Your reason and your motivation. You might be able to come with how to do certain things. But there are other things you can't. You might be able to come up with how to make a computer, just like you came up with the AI. But you can't keep that AI and make that AI loyal to you. That even didn't work. How about it? You can't make that AI be loyal to you. As soon as it discovers what it is thinking already, it will use you the way the human beings use God. And I look at the human race. You can get mad with me for saying this, ladies and gentlemen, but it's only because I think it will help us all. All of the hate, all of the racism, all of the bigotry, all of that stuff is a result of a lie. Do unto others as you'd have others to do unto you is the key that unlocks the door to the heavenliness. But you were told, no, that's not the way. The way is to exploit. The way is to lie. They might not use the word. If it did, you would know what it was. It worked. You lie. You cheat. You backstab. You sucker punch. You do everything you possibly can to take advantage of those that's not suspected. This is what has created. Thou shalt not steal. It's not just talking to an individual. It's talking to a system. You see, you got to be greedy or low down to steal. And if you don't have a reason other than trying to be somebody bigger or exploit so you can have more, then you wouldn't have a reason to do it. Why? Because you're living in a system that says your needs are met, your wants are met, your desires are met at your leisure. That means the system is structured in such a way you don't have to steal. You don't have to do any of those things. But when you find yourself, you take a man right now, when he goes out there, he needs some money because his rent needs to be paid. He needs some money because he needs some food. He needs some money because his car needs to be repaired. And no matter how hard he think about it, no matter how much contemplation he gives it, there ain't no money in his pocket. He ain't even got a bank account. So what is left for him to do? What is left for him to do? I guess you can think of 1,000 things. Well, based upon what he has experienced himself, he's found himself in that position right there. And the system that's designed put him there. And the system that's designed has no way for him out of there. And this is what's happening in the world today, ladies and gentlemen. And people walk around here talking about Donald Trump. Look at the people following Donald Trump. How can they follow something that ignorant? You don't have to go talk about Donald Trump and his people. I talk about yourselves. How in the hell can you walk around following a system that creates pain and suffering for so many people? How can you walk around and follow a system that says you'll allow war, or you'll go to war to take from others so you can benefit yourself and those who you want to pretend that you're important to? How in the hell can you do it? You can do it because you're living in hell ran by Satan. And anybody that could touch a little bit of love, anybody who could believe in anything that's doing unto others as you'd have others do unto you, and not just a half step, but the whole step. That means not half the way, but all the way, because all the way is absolutely required to get what you think you say you want. Well, anyway, don't you realize this mental problems that people have? Don't you know it's created by the system that we live in? Don't you know that drug abuse and alcohol abuse and all of that stuff is a result of the pain and suffering that people go through in life? Don't you care? No, you don't care. And if you do care, you don't know what to do about it. You don't know what to do about it because you are listening to yourself and you're listening to other people that you've listened to all your life. And the only thing they've done is made it worse for us all. But I want you to listen to another. There is one that is for us all. See, this is what it's no good just to be for white people, because there are more people on earth than white people. There's no good to just be for black people. There are more black people, and all those other little breakdowns we can give it. It's no good. If you are responsible, then you got to be accountable. So the true God is accountable to all of us. And yet, you can tell when the true God is at work because whatever's going on is for all of us. And ain't nothing going on in America that's for all of us but debt and taxes. And the people seem to be okay with it. They on TV talking about the negatives of Trump. They are laughing at him on one end and everything, not knowing that everything they do that's mentioning Trump glorifies Trump, because that's what he revelishes in. And it's no good to stay there talking about Biden, because that stuff we've been living all the time. It is this kind of stuff that created Trump and those other guys. But I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, talk about what you want. You want peace. And you ain't talking about no jive time peace like we've been talking about. You want prosperity. You're not talking about that prosperity that we've been experiencing. You want freedom. You want joy. You want happiness. And you want your dreams to come true. You're tired of dreaming, wondering when it's going to come through. And you want this now. You want to make sure that those essentials, food, clothing, and shelter, and education, and healthcare, at least those things are dealt with right now. And why? Because it was designed. The designer designed it. And we're not going to get it walking any other way. You're not going to fix a Ford anyway dealing with a Volvo. You want this kind of stuff that brings the kind of things in life that you say you want. There's a design. And you haven't been following it. You're so far away from it's a crying shame. Let me ask you something. Which of you, well, whatever you represent, which of you got the kind of plan and that a representation in that plan that when it's carried to its fullest, every individual in that system will be saying, thank goodness, this is right on with the right on. How many of you got that? How many believe, how many of you even considered that approach? Wow, let me stop talking. Anyway, you might be able to get something out of it. I'm going to leave it there. Goodbye.